Hey everyone, welcome back to Warren's Everyday English. Today, we're going to go over prepositions, everyone's least favorite aspect of English. But seriously, prepositions are extremely important. According to academic guides at Walden University, a preposition is a word or a group of words used before a noun, pronoun, or noun phrase to show direction, time, place, location, or to introduce an object. Today, we're going to cover 3 of the most common prepositions used: at, in, on. At is used in many different situations and is used when the following noun is located at a general point, location, or place. The following examples are places, locations we can use with the preposition at. For example, at the corner, at the bus stop, at the door, at the end of the road, at the entrance, at the crossroads, at the front desk. So here's a sample that we'll use when we're talking about at a point. We'll meet you at the bus stop. Another example is, hey, who's at the door? It might be John. And another sample, go straight and turn left at the corner. Then you'll see the post office. And the final example we have here, he's sitting on his chair at his desk. So we also use at for the places we go to regularly, like work, school, etc. So here are some samples. At work, at the library, at home, at school, at church, and at the doctor's office. So we can also use at when we talk about the places we go to frequently. For example, at the station, at the airport, at a restaurant, at the theater. And we can also use at when we talk about places that we go to for entertainment. For example, events, games, or concerts, right? So at a concert, at a party, or at a baseball game. So at is very versatile in that we're not just talking about points or locations. We can also use at when we talk about a point on a scale or a journey. So for example, right, bake the pie in the oven at 340 degrees Fahrenheit. My plane stopped at Detroit to go to Korea. We're going to stop at Tom's brother's house for a couple of nights on our way to LA. And at we also use when we talk about things related to email, or physical address as well too. So for example, please email me at abc@email.com. Send me a letter at 123 Main Street, New York, USA. So at is also used for proper nouns. So in this example, right, hey, where are you? I'm at Best Buy looking for a computer monitor. Or, want to meet at Whole Foods after class? We also use at to tell the time. For example, the meeting starts at 4 p.m. So at can also be used when we're talking about phone numbers. So for example, make sure you call Bob at 914-123-4567. Whereas the preposition at is used to describe a general location or place, in is used to describe inside of the location or place. So in tells us something or someone is in an enclosed space. They are inside of it. So here are some samples. In the garden, in Paris, in China, in a box, in my pocket, in my wallet, in a building, in a car. So let's go over some samples just so that you get a better understanding, better idea of how these are being used. So the key was in a box, in a drawer, in the desk, in my office. Another example, I'm watching TV in the living room. So in this example that, right, we just talked about I'm watching TV in the living room. It basically says, hey, I'm watching TV, I'm in an enclosed space, enclosed area, which is the living room. We can also use in when we talk about a place as a general place, such as neighborhoods and countries. Kate lives in the US. I have a meeting in New York. Gina is in Hawaii for the week. We may also use in when talking about media. For example, books, pictures, and prints. So for example, in a book, in a picture, in a newspaper. And we also commonly use in when we're talking about or referencing color, shape, or size. So 2 samples we have here. This first example is very, very common, and we use this a lot when we're in stores or when we're asking about sizes. So this dress comes in 5 different sizes. And another common example of in that we use is when you're at a store, for example, and you want to ask the worker there if they have a particular size of a clothing that you're looking for. Do you have this in an X small, medium, or large, for example? So that's a very common way of asking, hey, I'm looking for a particular size. Do you have this in a? The preposition on is used when something is on top of or over something. It is in contact with the surface. So I'll go over some examples where we can see on being used when something is in contact or it's basically touching a surface. On the wall, on the ceiling, on the cover, on the floor, on the carpet, on the menu, on a page. So let's expand on these samples a little bit more, right? The author's name is on the cover of the book. Or you can see the pictures of the food on the menu. And put up the flyers on the wall. We can also use on when we talk about a place in relation to a line, such as a road or a river. You'll pass New Jersey on the way to New York. It's just a small town on the Hudson River. So you can use on the river to talk about things that happen on the surface of a river or very close to the edge of a river. Here are 2 examples, right? Just to kind of compare, a little comparison between the two. We went boating on the river. There's a nice pub on the river. So in these examples, the first one, we went boating on the river, basically saying that we took a boat and we were on top of the river. We were going down the river. The second one, there's a nice pub on the river, is basically saying that the location of this pub, it's right next to the river. It can be partially on the river, but it's typically right next to it. We also use on to reference streets and avenues or floors. So, for example, we are on 7th Avenue. The post office is on Main Street. The doctor's office is on the 2nd floor. On is also used to talk about cell phones and specific website addresses. So things related to, your mobile phone. For example, if you have a tablet, anything related to internet we use a lot, we use the word on. He is on the phone right now. You can see what tomorrow's weather will be on weather.com. On is also used when talking about public or commercial transportation. I'll call you back in 15 minutes. I'm on the train. Where's Bob? He's on the bus and he'll be here in 30 minutes. So English prepositions can be really tricky. So to avoid confusion, there's a few things that you can keep in mind when you're talking about and using prepositions. So for cities, countries, and neighborhoods, make use of in. For streets and avenues, make sure you use on. And then for specific addresses, make use of at. So here are 3 examples using these 3 different prepositions. The shop is in Soho, which is a neighborhood. The shop is on North Avenue, which is a street. The shop is at 45 North Avenue when you're talking about a specific address. In some situations, on and at or in are used in the same situation, but they have completely different meanings. So if I say they are on the beach versus they are at the beach, they are on the beach means that they are literally sitting or laying on the beach. If we say they are at the beach, this is a general way to say that they are located somewhere around the beach. They could be laying on the beach, they could be in the parking lot at the beach, who knows? A few more examples. I'm at Macy's versus I'm in Macy's. So Macy's is a very big department store across the United States. If you say I'm at Macy's, It's a general way to say that you went to Macy's department store. If you say, I'm in Macy's, you're specifically saying you are inside Macy's because perhaps maybe someone asked, hey, where are you? Because they were looking for you. I understand prepositions can be very difficult to understand and use, but reviewing the different scenarios we went over today for in, at, and on will help you become used to the different nuances used with these prepositions. Practice creating different scenarios using these prepositions, and in time, you'll become more familiar with the specific usage. I hope you learned a lot today, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, folks.